Hi, this is Dorothy with Scrapbooking. This is our project for today. It's from the digital art collection of infullbloom, which you can find at dorothy.closetomyheart.com. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I hope you subscribe to it and ring the bell so you know when I'm doing my next project. So I really like this one. I'm showing you how you can make your own background paper just for a little interest. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye. Hi, this is Dorothy with Scrapbooking, and I am showing you one of our digital art collections. This is the one from infullbloom. And so this two-page 12 by 12 layout is what I'm going to make today. These are the rest of the titles and embellishments that come with the full digital collection. So this is somewhat indicative of each of the digital collections that are available with our different paper packs. But of course, they're geared towards that particular paper pack. And so this one has the pages have so much detail in them. They've got black overlays that are just finely cut by Cricut. They're just really beautiful. I've already cut everything and I've actually put it together because that was going to be extremely time consuming. There's a bunch of pieces to all of these other pieces. So they show using cardstock. Now you can use printed paper if you want. It's just up to you. But the cardstock background, it shows off all the detailed pieces, but it's a little plain for me. And so I took some mink cardstock and I'm using the light side of the mink. And these are one of our stencils. I don't know that it's still available, but there are other stencils that could be used instead of this one. And what I'm going to do is kind of make my own background paper, my own kind of printed background paper. And so I just wanted a little something to add interest to the background, but not enough to detract from the wonderful cuts that are with this particular collection. So I'm using the pewter pumice stone, I think, distressed oxide. And I'm just lightly going over. I actually did another sheet and I went over it heavier, and it's a little bit more, but I'm just kind of giving you an idea. And I forgot to do one of the flowers, or they also look like fireworks to me. So there's my background paper. So nothing super obvious. It's not going to detract. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some distressing to the edge of the paper. There's a lot of black in this layout, and a lot of black highlighting the pretty color florals and leaves and butterflies for that matter. So there's a lot of black going on, so I just wanted to kind of add a little bit to the edges. So this is the first two cuts, and look at that wonderful film strip. So you can put 3 by 3 pictures in there. It's just perfect. And you get a scallop, and I've taken my lemonade ink and my little fine brush, and I've gone around the edges and a little bit on the inside of these bulbs to make them look like they were on in kind of glowing yellow. The plain white just didn't do it for me. So I'm also putting a distressed edge on this little, what do you call that thing? It's not a ticket, but anyway, a tag. And it gets tucked under behind there. So if you notice, I've got a little cutout on that strip, but it doesn't matter because it's going to get covered up. So that's what I was talking about. Look at that fine cutting that was done on the Cricut to outline a flower. And then you glue that to the background, the lemonade background, and then this is one of the leaves. I mean, it just kind of blows me away. Now, this one is really pretty with the glacier background, but I screwed up. I messed up. I shouldn't say screw up. But I messed up, and those green leaves should have gone under, on top of the blue leaves and under the black. And so instead of cutting it all apart, I'm just going to offset it a little bit to give not the same look, but to add a little green to it. I was wondering why they were blue leaves, to tell you the truth. You know, I tell you, sometimes I just jump into things too fast without paying attention to what I'm doing. So I apologize. So we've got another little tag that goes there. And there's the center of that flower. I mean, look at those fine cuts. That Cricut is so cool. It is just so cool. So anyway, that's kind of a dry run of the layout. And I really like the added background of, you know, it's really essentially tone on tone. That pumice stone is like just about the same color as the light side of the mink. So very, very cool. I'm so glad that it matched like that. So I'm just going to give the light bulbs a little pop up, and I like them because they look like the old-fashioned light bulbs. So very, very cute. Kind of goes with the old-fashioned film strip that we don't really do anymore, right? So I've got my light bulbs hanging up, hanging down from the top edge. And I'm going to go ahead and put the holder for the 3x3 photos down. So I'm just kind of running it across, and then the scalloped edge goes underneath, and I'm letting the darker color show through. So, and I'll go ahead and put the tag, tuck the tag under. The reason why I wasn't worried about that little piece not being, you know, solid all the way through is it gets covered up. It would get covered up by a picture anyway, and the picture can slip underneath that little tag. So, you know, that's a good place to put a date or names, you know, whatever you want to do. So I'm just going to offset these leaves a little bit so there is some green that is showing through behind the blue leaves and the blueberries. Ooh, blueberries, that sounds good. And I'm going to go ahead and stick it down with my Tombow. And tuck it under. And see, I like the little green edge showing. So look at that gorgeous flower. Isn't that really so pretty? So these leaves, also Cricut cuts, they look very similar to some of the die cuts that came with the workshop, the infullbloom workshop. This is really just such a beautiful full collection. All of the pieces, this and the papers and the cardstock and the die cuts and the even the Picture My Life cards, which I use later on. All so pretty. So I'm going to tuck the flower under there a little bit. And then the next one now, how cool is this? Also cut by the Cricut. And I'm going to go ahead and use some liquid glue on the back of that, you know, because they're so thin that the Tombow would make little webs in between. So I'm just going to use my Tombow glue and stick it down with that. And I love how stark the black looks against the mink. It's just really striking looking. And then we've got our yellow flower, our lemonade flower. Such a lovely combination of colors. So, but that's kind of why I used the yellow on the bulbs, is because the lemonade just, I thought, well, let's have those. Those are kind of old-fashioned bulbs. They would look, have that kind of goldish yellow look of tungsten. So that's why I went ahead and colored those. Now you can tell that this background is a little bit darker. I really put too much pressure on it when I was making it, but that's okay. I mean, I never ever claim to be perfect, ever. And actually, I could tell I was pressing too hard because my hands started hurting. So I kind of learned from the second one. Now, those holes up there, they were not supposed to be there. That was just me also not paying attention. And I didn't worry because you know what? They get covered up. So, I didn't want to waste pieces when I knew that they could be covered up. So I love these leaves, and golly, look at how glorious that is. And the Cricut did such a good job of cutting it. It was just fantastic. And look at the fine lines on that butterfly. I mean, is that amazing? Those are overlays onto the glacier and lemonade. The overlays are just really beautiful. So I do like my background paper. I have to say that. The dogs are playing underneath me here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and... okay. Daisy. I'm going to go ahead and put the leaf down and put a little weight on top of it to keep it kind of flat. And the same thing with the next bunch of leaves. And then that beautiful glacier-colored flower is going to go right in the center there. And I'm going to lift it up, but I'm going to leave the little foam squares, I'm going to leave them off of the bottom because a picture will slide up under there. So I'm just kind of putting them on the top part of the flower. And then another one on the butterfly. I have to lift the butterfly up too. And you could squeeze those wings together to give it a little bit more lift to the butterfly. So they're feeling good. Okay, and I didn't intend this, but that stencil kind of mimics that flower somewhat. So I'm going to have the one little butterfly pointed in, and the other bigger butterfly is going to point out, just for some interest. Just the little bit of lemonade just really makes a difference. So, and then we've got a little tag here that can, you can put the date or names or whatever on there. Now, I kind of messed up here because the letters that are dual letters that I glued together really should be snug up close to the mat for the picture, and I put it down too low. I just wasn't thinking, because there is something that is supposed to go down there. And so I'm just going to go ahead and glue the letters down too, and I really wish that I had paid better attention. I think I just I don't know if I get in a hurry or get, just, I don't know. Not thinking enough, thinking about the wrong stuff at the time. So that should be at least a ½ inch closer to the mat. See, because I've got, it says bloom and grow. So I kind of have to lift the letters up and scooch them up a little bit. I haven't quite figured out just exactly that I needed to move those up more. So here we go. Now I'm moving the letters up. And I was lucky that they didn't pull any of the paper with them, so that was good. But I love that really strong title, the white background with the black on top of it. So I'm just kind of moving the letters to just kind of get them basically going. I should have put a line down. That's what I should have done. So if you're doing this, make yourself a little line, and it would be, even if you made it like a ½ inch below the glacier background, then you could put the tops of your letters snug up to that line. And then you would have, some room to put the "and grow." There, I'm just picking up. And these are script letters. So they could actually be placed closer to each other just because it's script, and they would automatically, naturally go closer to each other. So anyway, we've got missing a heart. I need a heart to go on the other page. Anyway, it did Cricut did the cursive "and grow" also. So I mean, it's just the entire layout is made from the digital art collection. The cool thing is it's only $9.95 for this. And remember, just because you have this, particular layout, you can adjust it with color for any kind of layout. And you can change it up even. If you don't want the light bulbs on there, you can. You can, leave those off. Whatever you want to do. You can use some of the other titles that are available in the digital art collection. So, totally up to you. But I think it's a really neat looking collection, and, hopefully you get some ideas of making your own background and texture. It's totally fun to do, especially if you use the stencils and you're not having to move one particular stencil around or even stamp. If you've got some 12 by 12 stencils, that would just work out great. We do have some sunburst stencils that would also do wonderful for making your own background and texture paper, or just background paper, printed background paper. So the other thing that I realized that I didn't really have was, a little journaling card. And so I'm kind of going, these are the Picture My Life in Full Bloom Picture My Life cards. And so I'm just kind of going through and seeing what they've got to kind of give me an idea of those are the 4x6s. They're too big. And I'm kind of thinking, I do like that butterfly because that's consistent with color and the butterflies on the other page. And so I'm just kind of cutting those down a little bit to make my own background and texture my own journaling section. So I'm just cutting it behind me. I'll be coming out in a moment. I also have, if you can see, that I have very few stickers left. And I will use a couple more of those stickers. So I wanted to show the butterflies because they're so cute. And so I'm going to totally offset the semi-lined paper from the butterflies. And that's totally okay. So I'm going to put "just relax" because, we've got flowers and butterflies, and just they kind of make you sleepy just watching butterflies. I mean, relax is something you can really do when you're watching them work so hard. So there we go. And, I decided, I need some glitter. So I stopped this video a couple of times, and then I decided, no, I want some more. So I'm adding, these are maybe julep some sparkles that we had if they're in your stash. And they're kind of they're green, but they're kind of have a tinge of blue to them. So they go really well with this particular layout. My blue sparkles were too blue, and I've got some greens that are too green, but this one was just right. And so I'm just adding some sparkles around the big flower and in between leaves, and just to add a little bit of, it also adds some dimension to your layout. So you always want to keep things interesting with a little dimension, little stamping, and it makes it fun. So there's trying to show the sparkle, and that one. So I think that it came out good, and I'm happy with it. Thanks for watching. Bye now.
Hi, I'm Dorothy Smith. Thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and learn along with me. Thanks. Bye-bye.